right, so let's start off with our weekly recap. So we had week 4 of LCS come by, and I pick a couple of things to really talk about. So one of the things I really wanted to talk about is the game of the week. Now, the game of the week isn't necessarily the best game; it's just the most entertaining game. So even though Cloud9 literally stomped everyone this week, they're not part of the game of the week, only because, well, it's a stomp. It's not exactly the most entertaining game of
We're
the
looking
week.
for the closest game. What's really going to show some skill level?
Exactly, and just fun to watch a
Yeah.
lot of the time. So I picked 2. So I guess I'm kind of cheating, but the 2 games I picked were Golden Guardians versus TSM, and then FlyQuest versus Team Liquid. So we can start breaking those down.
And let's go ahead. Let's start off with Golden Guardians versus Team Liquid.
Well, I really like this game.
Or sorry, my bad. TSM.
I really like this game only because of the draft is one of the most important parts of it.
Yeah.
Because TSM drafted a heavily, the way they drafted is they drafted Twisted Fate mid lane, which allows them to pretty much use affect other lanes.
Yeah.
So
very roaming mid laner.
Yeah, it's a very roaming mid laner, and that's why I thought the moment the draft happened, TSM almost already won the game because they put Demonte, a player who he's strong in lane, but he is primarily affecting other lanes, which is why Golden Guardians have picked up their wins, and they put him on Morgana, which is a lane heavy dominant pick, but not a map heavy dominant. Doesn't affect the map very well. So just watching Bjergsen move all around the map and affecting the map while Demonte for some reason doesn't push in the lane. He's trying to match Bjergsen's roams because of how much effect it's happening over the map.
Yeah.
So that's why this game is one of those. It's just a fun game to watch. There's tons of things happening. It's a bloody game, and the macro is actually interesting. It's not. It's a bloody game without being a fiesta, and it's definitely one of the top games of the week.
Yeah,
Yep.
so hopefully if you guys missed some games or didn't really have the time to watch all of them, you can go back and you can watch whatever we suggest every week. And that's Eddie's first suggestion. What's your second suggestion?
The second suggestion is also my suggestion for most fiesta game of the week.
All right.
But it's still an entertaining game, but it is still a fiesta. Yeah, so FlyQuest versus Team Liquid. Great game, really entertaining, super bloody game. FlyQuest is in the lead pretty much the entire game until they throw it to Team Liquid, and then Team Liquid almost throws it back to FlyQuest. It's a fiesta-filled game, and it is definitely another top pick to watch. So the reason that I want to do these top picks is because not everyone has time to watch LCS like every game, and so most people will usually just watch their favorite teams play.
Yeah.
Right? Makes sense. But sometimes that's not the best League of Legends being played. So I just kind of wanted to throw in 1 or 2 games that you can add, you just watch the VODs after, and it kind of, allows you to break into watching more LCS.
Possibly hype you up for the next week. Since you're going to coming out on Friday, come out in the morning, you can listen to the podcast, and you can watch the games we suggest, and you'll be ready for Friday Night League that night.
Exactly. It's a perfect setup.
Perfect run-in. What's the next game we want to talk about, Eddie?
Well, I don't want to talk about games. Now we're going to talk about the LCS Player of the Week. So this is chosen by the casters, coaches, blah, 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 blah.
Unfortunately, they didn't talk to us about it.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
We're clearly the most knowledgeable people on the subject. 2 episodes in, by the way.
Yeah.
And so
we really should get a vote in this stuff.
Absolutely.
I'm going to email Riot. I want for the split, when they do the player of the split and they do the votes, I want to vote.
We shouldn't even get just 2 votes.
I'm going to vote for Stunt.
Our votes, okay, never mind. No one doesn't get a vote. But my vote should be worth 5 points.
5 votes, okay.
Yeah, 5 votes. Because I think I am just that smart about League of Legends and the game. And that means that my opinion matters more than anybody else's.
It does make the most amount of sense.
Thank you. Exactly. But the player of the week that LCS picked was Bjergsen. And he did have a fantastic 2 games. TSM went 2-0, and
that's why he's the player of the week.
Yes, but a lot of people are, everyone's always bitching about, Cloud9 didn't get it again. Cloud9 didn't get it again. Well, TSM went 2-0, so did Cloud9, and it's just for this week.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, Bjergsen does deserve the player.
I think
of
a
the
lot
week.
of people overshadow player of the week. It means the week. I feel like a lot of people, they always think about other stuff. It also comes into when you talking player of the split. A lot of people think about the last 3 weeks or what's happening in the beginning of playoffs or right leading up to playoffs. But it's if someone dominated the first 5 weeks of the split, and then had a few bad weeks, but like and then they came back. Like that's still majority of the split. Like you
Yeah.
can't just focus on like the most recent stuff. But when you're talking player of the week, you have to only focus on the most recent
Just
stuff.
that week,
Yeah.
you know? And so people are like, oh, why didn't Licorice get it? Well, Licorice had a really great first game. His second game, meh. It was still great. You know, he's still a great player.
Yeah.
And then Niski and Vulcan, I guess they could have also have gotten it, but I think they're trying to spread it out, and I kind of agree with this. Because let's be real, Cloud9's still probably going to win LCS this year.
The odds are all 5 Cloud9 players will get a player of the week at some point this split.
And they're probably all going to be the all-star team. You
Yeah.
know how they picked the all-star team? It was last split, they were the all-star team. I would be very surprised if this split they are not the all-star team again.
The only one that was kind of close was people were saying someday maybe should have took top lane.
Yeah,
But even with the way this split's going,
that's not
100
happening
Thieves,
this split.
unless
yeah.
it really picks up and absolutely dominates.
Yeah, unless
but-
they start putting him on way more carry top.
Hey, when they do put him on carry tops, he's been doing better. But then they always have
Yeah.
to put him on Ornn, and then
Which makes no sense. I don't understand why teams like to play other teams' metas.
yeah, it doesn't make sense. You
Like-
play what you play the best.
Exactly.
I played a Thresh Blitz game with our friend Mike yesterday, and we destroyed.
exactly.
Is it the meta? No.
No.
Was it fun? Yes. And did we win? Yes.
Somehow.
Yes.
But yeah, so Bjergsen,
We did throw the early game though.
well, you usually really that's when you're supposed to win.
Nah, we carried the late game.
What?
Don't know how.
That makes no sense.
Don't worry about it.
They fall off. They're supposed to be strong in
It was
lane.
amazing. All right, back to the LCS.
Yeah, so Bjergsen I think deserved the player of the week. It makes the most sense to me. Now, we have made our own little award here for the worst player of the week.
Yeah, we think it's an amazing award for us.
Yeah.
And if I was in the LCS, I'd get it every week. That's why we made it.
Yeah, it's meant to represent our show the most.
Yes.
And the player that represented our show the most this week was Ruin.
Ruin. What did Ruin do, Eddie?
Well, Ruin is the top laner for CLG.
Okay.
And they went 0-2 this week.
What they always do. Well, not always, but
They pretty much only lost because of Ruin. Like
that's
this,
gotta hurt.
he pretty much drew both the games. Now, give him a little bit of credit. One of those games was against Cloud9, but I pulled up some of his KDA and some of the stats from the game, and they're not pretty. But let's see here. So against TSM, he went 1-6-5. So 6 deaths, 1 kill, and 5 assists.
Hey, he was even though. He did get 6 assists and kills combined.
So technically he's even, but he gave away 6 deaths to like the top laner to Beer. Like it was a bad game. He was pretty much throwing gold all around. He's like,
He
hey,
fed.
I got some gold. You want some gold? Here's some gold.
Let's
like,
be real, those assists were in team fights when he just tapped a person
Pretty
and they
much.
died like 2 minutes later, and it's like, ooh, assist.
Yeah, and then the game against Cloud9 was way worse. And yeah, there's no real excuse for this. He got solo killed twice by 10 minutes. And I think killed 3 times by 10 minutes. Like, it was bad.
That's pretty bad.
And
And he
then-
got 0 kills.
0 kills, 7 deaths, and only 2 assists. So
That's a little rough.
it's definitely wasn't. And this isn't like. Here's the thing about Ruin. He's either popping off or he doesn't. And the sad thing is, most of the time now, he's not popping off.
So do you
anymore.
think he's going to be another worst player of the week on our show?
There's a good chance.
There's a good
There's
chance?
a pretty solid chance.
When do you think?
Like, it could be next week.
You think next week?
It could be, like, he's not, like,
If it's next week, Eddie's rigging the show. I'm
CL,
just going to let you know that.
CLG plays Team Liquid and I think TSM next week. I'm not
So
100%
lose and lose.
correct. Yeah, they're definitely against top teams.
Watch, they're going to get a 2-0 weekend,
Yeah.
and we're going to look like dumbasses.
And both of those teams have relatively solid top laners. So there is a really solid chance that Licorice is or not Licorice, that Licorice, worst player, that Ruin is definitely going to be the player of, like, the worst player of the week again. There's a good chance, but yeah, he definitely earned it. So good job, Ruin. You're really making your team.
We have to get trophies. Then we can send them out. They probably have like team PO boxes. AFK in the morning, worst player. They'll be so confused, but it'd be amazing.
I don't think that we would be generally accepted into the community
You don't think so?
if we started just shipping trophies to players that just says you fucking suck.
No, not that wording.
Oh, just
You
you
have
are
to censor the
worst
fuck.
worst player of the week.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't sound great.
But what if we get like bobbleheads like they have for best player of the week? Well, not even bobbleheads. See,
Like the
bobbleheads are better
statues?
than the statues.
Like the statues.
No, we're gonna get bobbleheads. Even better.
And do we put like a dunce cap on all the players? Like that's how we do it.
Yes.
We don't have the budget for that.
This is why we need you guys to watch the show, so we can do this amazing content.
Yeah, this is not a good idea. Please don't watch the show.
Imagine like the documentary, like they do like the weekly documentaries, the show, and they'd 100% put that in. They'd be like, we got this random statue.
Yeah, someone sent us a trophy that says worst player of the week.
I think it'd be great.
And then, if you want to go for the entire thing, if you want to do worst team of the week too, CLG also earned that. So
yeah, but team of the week, like you always said, it's easy. You just find the team that went
0
and 2.
There's like 3 or 4.
And then you find the one that threw the most.
Yeah. Well,
I think C9 was the worst.
Dignitas has less potential than CLG, 100%. So maybe Dignitas gets worst team of the week, but definitely worst player still goes to Ruin, 100%.
Okay. So we got the worst player.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the worst game. The most fiesta game. You talked about it earlier, give a little hint, but why was it the most fiesta game when we talk about FlyQuest versus Team Liquid?
Well, FlyQuest versus Team Liquid was an interesting game to say the least.
Okay.
Pretty much it was my car. It was a Ford Fiesta.
Oh, okay.
It was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, but the Ford Fiesta is the best game to watch. It's the best car to drive.
It's the best car to drive. That's why I still included it in a game you should watch. But it's still definitely a Fiesta of a game.
Ford, if you would like to sponsor us, we will take the sponsorship.
100%. Also, as much as I'm saying this is the most Fiesta game, there are plenty of Fiesta games this week, like tons of them. Like every Immortals game was a Fiesta. Every Dignitas game was pretty much a Fiesta, except when they got stomped by Cloud9 because, well, it wasn't a Fiesta because they got
Fiesta
stomped.
in a certain way.
Yeah, but so pretty much they were just a Fiesta because FlyQuest got an early lead, and then they started smoking weed and threw their early lead, and then Team Liquid finally got a footing, got Baron, then almost threw again, only to win. Like it was just a shit show of a game that was still relatively entertaining, so that's why I'm going to include it as the Fiesta game, because like if it's a Fiesta game and it's like it's a 50-minute game with only like 4 or 5 kills, which have happened before, I'm not going to tell you to fucking watch that shit, you know? At least watch something that's bloody, that's entertaining. So that's what's going to be the
You need to get at least like 50 kills.
Yeah.
Well, how much? I don't think they had that much,
like
but
30, I think.
That's a Fiesta.
They had a lot. Like it was a Fiesta of a game.
Yeah.
So Team Liquid versus FlyQuest is the Fiesta of the game.